Today we're going to share exactly how much it cost Troy to start selling his passion product on Amazon, including how much it actually cost him to start selling, all the design, all the initial production run. Then we're going to go month by month, share his revenue, his Amazon FBA fees, his product costs, all the other expenses associated with selling on Amazon, and his final profit. And make sure to stay till the end of this video, because at the end of this video, he's going to share with us some of his biggest mistakes and his biggest lessons learned. And he made one mistake that cost him $1,600 in one day. It was a very easy to make mistake, very simple. I felt really bad when I heard it. So let's get started off. Let's talk a little bit about what your passion product is, and then let's get right into how much it cost you to start selling.
Yeah, so I was a college tennis player, so I'm very familiar with tennis products. And when I was doing research on what product I wanted to do, I had some other ideas in mind. And then I was just like, well, I like tennis. Let's see if there's something I can do with tennis. And came across that I can get into tennis grips affordably for my first initial production run. And I think I can get into that market space.
And so the first cost that I sat down with him, we listed out everything, every single expense, and the first cost he had was the trademark. And to be honest, I thought he spent a little bit more, but let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I was intimidated in getting a trademark and I didn't want to mess anything up. So I talked to a guy, a lawyer who could help me out, and he was like $100-ish to do it for me. And I was like, great, you take care of it. And I actually enjoyed him because there were a couple things that he was able to hash out, and now that I'm building into more products, he's already taken care of those products in the trademark, so I don't have to add or edit or do anything.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. I was just pointing out, you don't need to necessarily pay someone. You can always go to USPTO and do it yourself. But let's back up even further. How did you find a manufacturer for this? And let's talk about the process, including how much it cost you to get samples.
Totally. So I just went to Alibaba and went through, I typed in tennis grips into their search engine, and it came up with 1,000 different products. So I found one that fit my budget and my MOQ.
Yeah.
And
MOQ, for anybody that doesn't know, minimum order quantity. Some people are like, you got to buy 50,000 grips, which is a lot for,
Yes. I did have to buy a little more than I wanted to, but in the long run, it ended up working out just fine to get the price down to where I wanted to be. But I just had 10 different companies ship out, maybe a little less than that. But I got 8 different grips that I was able to sample, tacky grips, not dry grips. And I found the grips that I liked to use the most and what I most commonly see out there on the tennis courts.
And this is one of the key things why I think Troy's story is so great, is he understands his product. It's something that he is passionate. He's a great tennis player. I've played with him and he crushes me. And he understands what makes a good grip versus a bad grip. Where someone like me, if I was just following the numbers, I wouldn't know what's a good grip versus, I mean, sure, this one's stickier, but maybe stickier is not always a good thing.
Right.
And how much did it cost you to get the samples?
It cost me, well, the samples were cheap, $1 or $2, but the shipping is where they get you. So it cost me about $20 per shipping for each sample. So let's just say anywhere from $100 to $150 I spent on sampling stuff.
And then the next fee you got to keep in mind is the Amazon fee. And the Amazon fee is around $39.99. At what point did you sign up for the professional account and start doing it? Did you wait until inventory was ready, or?
I did it early. I kind of wanted to familiarize myself with the Seller Central account, so I probably paid for 3 months of not selling anything. So the $39.99 cost me what, $100?
And I wish I would have talked to you. So there are times, this happened to me, where I was able to get reimbursed for the first 2 months. So it might be too late now that and it's not that big of a deal. But the other really big cost is the production run. How much did your initial production run cost you?
So it was supposed to cost me $3,600, which was totally good with that. Yeah. So when I first was talking to my manufacturer, they sent me the logo and everything that they were gonna put on the packaging. And I was like, great, looks great, let's do it. So they packaged everything up, and then I found out from my trademark lawyer that I couldn't use my logo that I wanted to use. I wanted to use Aiken, but Aiken was already taken. So
and his brand is taken, so that's why, yeah.
Taking grips. And so I had to talk to my supplier and be like, hey, I can't use this packaging. I need you to repackage my grips. And so it cost me an extra $400 for them to repackage, which I was kind of pleased with how much that cost me. I thought that it was going to be a bigger deal.
And this will be a repeating theme. You'll see some more mistakes coming up, but there's usually solutions to different mistakes. And so then after you got, so it was $4,000 for your total production run. What about how'd you ship it over? Did you do sea shipping? Did you do air shipping?
I did sea shipping. It took about, the 30-day sea shipping is a lie because you like, when you finalize, give them the money, it takes them like 5 days to package it and get it off, and then it takes a couple days to get to sea, and then 30 days on sea, and then Amazon has to get it, and then it takes Amazon 7 days to get it up and running. So like maybe 45 days is like the 30-day shipping.
Another key principle of entrepreneurship that nobody talks about, everything takes longer than you think it will. And you got 15 days longer isn't as bad as, I've had it where it takes months longer. Sometimes I'll email people, and this actually just happened to me. I'll email them and they won't get back to me for a week, 2 weeks. And then it's just, I have to wait for that person, I have to wait for the next person. So that's not too bad. And then other fees, another big one is, did you go with an LLC or a DBA? And how much did that cost you?
I did like a sole proprietorship, so a DBA, and it cost me about $80.
Okay, so that's not bad. And the only thing you need for that is to get a bank account, and it just makes it a little bit easier to sell on Amazon. And a lot of people, you don't need an LLC unless you need legal protection. Like for performance nut butter, my passion product, I need legal protection because if someone eats it and gets sick, I don't want them coming and suing me. It's a limited liability company. Another fee that a lot of people have to deal with is barcodes, and some people, they cheap out and they get the cheaper barcodes. Did you end up getting the legit GS1, and how much did that cost you?
I did end up going with the GS1. I'm in it for the long term. I didn't want to didn't want to do the cheap ones and then it gets taken away. But yeah, barcodes were confusing to me between the SKU and the ASIN and all those different like numbers, where I had to kind of watch. I mean, I came across your video on that, and like I had to really pay attention to that because I was confused. So I ended up watching a video that said just get the GS1 if you're gonna do it. So I paid $250 for 10 barcodes because at the time I only had 2 items, but I knew I wanted to get into colors, so I was gonna add more products. So that's why I was comfortable doing 10.
And it can be confusing at first. Basically, the FN SKU is the barcode that goes on the package so that you can send it into the Amazon warehouse, where the UPC code is, I think it's Universal Product Code. Basically, if you ever see the UPC code, or if you ever see an item scanned at Walmart or some store, that's the UPC code. Amazon needs you to have a UPC code to show that it's a legitimate product, but they want you to put the FN SKU on the product, so it can get a little bit confusing. And then the last, I think, expense you had was software. And which software did you go with?
Right. I think I just found the best deal on Viral Launch. And I follow those guys on podcast, and I'm a big fan of those guys. I really enjoy listening to them, and I think they're honest about a lot of the information they get. So they did good branding in my opinion. So I haven't tried Jungle Scout or any of the other ones, but I've just been happy with Viral Launch, so I've stuck with them. They can be a little pricey at like $85 a month when I'm getting started.
Oh wow.
Because I wanted to do they have cheaper packages, but for some of the analytics that I needed, I had to go to the bigger account, and definitely think it was worth it. And then once I got my product up and running and I didn't need them, then I don't pay the $84.99 a month.
Totally. Yeah, and there's Helium 10, Viral Launch, and Jungle Scout. I did do a video, I'll link up here and down below, where I compare the different platforms.
One thing I also want to mention is I did pay for pictures, if we didn't include that.
That's a good thing to include.
So I paid $150 for, I think it was Viral Launch's team, like they have another third party that does pictures. So I paid $150 for like 7 pictures. So I got a main image and then a bunch of side images.
And did it take, was it computer rendering? Or
no,
was it,
so what I did is I bought a white board and then took pictures with it and sent it into it, and then they got creative with it and put text with it, or they put a tennis player in it. I had to like ask them. They put a tennis player that holds a racket like this, and I was like, that person doesn't look like a tennis player. Can we get a different person for this image?
Again, this is where having passion and actually understanding your product comes in handy, because I'm sure if you were on Amazon and you saw grips with someone holding it up like this, you'd be like, what? This doesn't feel legit.
Yeah.
But in total, it cost you around $5,800 to get started, which isn't an insane amount, but it also isn't cheap. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Right, yeah. Well, I thought that it was gonna cost me $3,600 to do it. And then so there's another $2,000 of unexpected fees that a lot of people don't tell you about.
Another principle of entrepreneurship, there's always unexpected fees, always unexpected delays, but you'll see, we'll go over month by month his numbers. In the long run, it's 100% worth it. So let's get started with your first month. selling on Amazon, and we talked about this before. Your launch strategy was pretty much just launch it, have some friends, have some people buy it and leave reviews. So the first month you sold around 250 units or so. And what total revenue from that was around, was it?
Yeah, so total revenue was around $1,200, and I was selling at a cheaper price point than what I'm selling at now. And so for selling 250 units, I was pretty stoked on that. Like looking at the numbers, I was hoping to get to about 500 units. So the fact that in my first month I had done 250 units, I was pleased with that. And I was definitely using a lot of friends and family that don't share my Wi-Fi to get some purchases to get started.
So technically it's against the terms of service to get friends and family to buy products. Here's the little, I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but as long as you don't share Wi-Fi, Amazon doesn't always know. So be careful though, be aware of that kind of thing.
And it was like 10 family and friends.
Yeah.
So I wasn't every person in my contact, hey man, I'll send you a Venmo for $7 to buy my product. It was just like a couple people to get me off the ground.
And really, Amazon doesn't care about, my experience has been, and other people I know's experience has been, Amazon doesn't care about that. They care about the giant companies in China that are getting 500 fake reviews. That's the people they're really trying to target. In all honesty, you gotta imagine if you're Amazon and someone's promoting, hey, go to Amazon and buy some stuff, they probably are gonna turn the other cheek. But yeah, I don't wanna get any comments about how I'm gonna get people banned. So obviously that's really great. And so total revenue was around, was it $1,200 or so? And it's great. Revenue's amazing, but as you and I both know, revenue is not profit. Let's go over all your different costs. So how much did it cost you to do, how much to actually make the products, each individual product?
Well, so my unit cost came out to be about $1.37, including packaging, including shipping, including the product, everything. So let's just round it out $1.50, so because then PPC also takes. So if I'm selling, at that point I was selling it for $6, so $1.50, I was about $4.50. Amazon was taking about $3.50 at the moment for that. So I was like profiting almost $1 a sale.
Okay, so in total for your first month, it was about break even, which this is another big wake-up call for a lot of new sellers. Breaking even on your first month is actually a good thing, because what Troy was doing was he was paying for PPC, he's paying for data, he's paying for the algorithm to recognize that he's got a legitimate product. And it's okay. So the people that win in Amazon, in entrepreneurship, they're the people that are in it for the long run. So let's keep going. Month number 2, how many units did you sell? How much in revenue did you do?
Yeah, month two is great. I did about 250 units, so I was 50 units better. I'm getting towards my goal. I did about $1,600 in revenue. I also at some point decided to try seeing if I could sell at a little higher price point, and it didn't affect my sales at all. So I was able to keep it there. And I also came across something called small and light shipping, which basically it means I can only sell on Amazon. So if I wanted to sell on eBay or self-sell, I couldn't have eBay or I couldn't have Amazon ship it for me.
Gotcha.
But it took my cost from Amazon taking about $3.50 to taking $3. So that added 50 cents back in my pocket, and I raised my price $1, so it added a whole $1.50 of straight profit into my pocket.
And another very important principle is if you want to make more money, you can either decrease your cost, which Troy did, or you can increase your price, which Troy also did. And that's really an easy way. And a lot of times, another big principle, people aren't always as price sensitive as you might think. On Amazon, people, if it's $1 more or $1 less, a lot of times they're just gonna buy whatever they want and whatever looks good. It doesn't make that big of a difference. So I would recommend always trying to be, within reason, the most expensive and the best product rather than trying to be the cheapest and trying to just be the cheapest and the worst product. That's not a long-term strategy. So let's move into month number 3. How much revenue, how many sales?
Month 3 actually decreased a little bit, which I'm not exactly sure why. I think I also might have run into a little problems with revenue as far as like when I did my first shipment, I did 3 packs, and then I also did like a bulk 60 pack, which weren't selling at all. So that was a big problem. And so what I had to do was I had to create a removal order for all those, and then I bought my own packaging and my own FNSKU numbers to put onto the packaging, and then eventually I shipped those back into Amazon, which was a couple unexpected costs that I had to do $100 worth of baggies, and then to print the labels, and then about another $50 to $100 of shipping it back into Amazon.
Right. So after product cost, Amazon FBA fees, all those different things, you had a total profit of around $200, I think, is the number. Okay, so at this point, how are you feeling about Amazon? Are you feeling like it's a good opportunity, or are you still kind of iffy?
Yeah, I'm feeling good about it as far as I'm profitable after month 3, which I was stoked on to be making money there, and I knew that I could keep going, and that if I started to do things right, because I knew I was making mistake after mistake, and I knew like eventually I would get things streamlined and like get costs down. And so if I could get that up to like $500 to $1,000, like I would have been really happy, because I was just, my goal was kind of about to pay for rent basically with it, to like make it around $1,000 ish. Yeah. With it.
But let's go into month number 4, where you did about $1,800 in revenue and sold around 300 units.
Right, so I was getting back on track. I'd also put colors into my repertoire now, because I took those mixed 60 packs and I now sent them back in as 3 packs with different colors. I think that helped get me back. Yeah, so then I had my best month. Again, profited around $300-ish. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm growing a little bit here by month.
But now comes the really big mistake that cost you $1,600, and make sure to smash that like button, because this is Troy. He's bringing the value here. Like, he made $1,600 worth of mistakes, so you can learn from him. Smash that like button. But let's talk about the mistake, and let's talk about month number 5.
Yeah, so month number 5 is when everything changed for me. So I was doing about $10 or 10 units a day, which is about $600 of profit, but then the $300 of PPC I was doing, so sticking around 300. So on June 14th, I woke up one morning and all my inventory was gone. Very
good thing, usually.
Right? I saw like $10,000, $12,000 in my Amazon number, and I was like, wow, I'm gonna be out, but like, who cares? I just made $12,000 of revenue.
Yeah.
But then I realized that I didn't have anything in like my profit center, or like where it transfers over. Like, I had a bunch of things in promo and rebates. So I was like, what promo or rebate do I have going on? So about a week before, I had a customer reach out to me and said, hey, I didn't receive my product. Amazon delivered it to the wrong address. So I was like, okay, no worries. Here's a free coupon for code. Also, I don't think you can give away a free like 100% free.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
So I tried to do it at 99%. So I made like a taken free 99 code that I customized. I didn't know that there was a difference between promotions and coupons. Yep. And the way it works out is, if you create a custom coupon, it goes out to the entire world or custom promotion, it goes out to the entire world no matter what. So everybody got access to my grips. So people were buying hundreds of grips at a time, which I've since seen on eBay, people reselling my grips.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah. But either way, so I contacted Amazon right away. Luckily, I woke up and like it had only like been an hour past since that had happened. So I called eBay, canceled as many orders as I could, but some of them had already been processed. So about 250 of them had already gone through, which at $7 a grip, it cost me about $1,600, which that's just what Amazon took, because I had to pay the full $7 plus the $1.50 that it cost me to make the grip. So it was like an $8.50 error per the $250 or to the 250 units that I lost.
So in month 5, you did about $4,000 in revenue, sold again around 400 units or so. And then after your product cost, Amazon FBA fees, all the other fees, what was your net profit?
Yeah, so I would have net profited about $1,000, but due to that error, I ended up losing about $600 that month.
Ouch. But here is where things start to get really interesting. Is a lot of times what I found in my life, and you'll see in a second here, sometimes the worst things that happen end up leading to some of the best things with your business and in life. So let's go into month 6, and this is where things start turning around a little bit. Month 6, how much in revenue, how many units did you sell?
Right, so since I had that huge mess up that I was doing about 10 units a day, I started doing about 15 units a day, 20 units a day. All of a sudden I was doing 30 units a day and was crushing it. And I was kind of taking my PPC cost down dollar by day to like, since I didn't need to spend so much since I was doing so well. And now I'm doing about 1,000 units a month ever since that. So months 5, 6, 7 have now been 1,000 units, and if I'm profiting $2, that's around $2,000 a month that I'm profiting.
So that's enough in Santa Monica, which is where I live, where he lives, at a freaking amazing town where rent's extremely expensive, enough to pay rent in what I assume is probably one of your dream locations.
There's nowhere else I'd rather live.
That to me is the power of Amazon and also the power of thinking long term. But before we go into Troy's biggest lesson, comment down below about a mistake you've made that ended up leading into something really amazing. And let's transition. If you could go back in time, if you could tell your previous self before you started selling on Amazon one thing, what would it be and why?
Yes, so many things, but I think the biggest thing would be to have somebody to talk to so that I don't have to make these mistakes. That like I had 2 older brothers and it was so nice to learn from all their mistakes that I didn't have to make those mistakes growing up. So like when I was doing this, I just watched YouTube videos and then went ahead and did it, which was a great learning experience.
Yeah,
it taught me a lot.
Yeah.
But it would have been nice to like talk to somebody about the shipping, whether I want to do by sea or by plane, and just get my inventory in and start selling. Yeah. So those would be some things. Like I didn't know how to create a campaign, or like what images would be right, or like I kind of knew some good keywords, but there's also like, because I'm competing against Wilson and Head, but like, can I use those keywords in my listing? I don't know. So like it would have been nice to have somebody to talk to about that who's been there and done that.
And this is one of the most important principles. Don't try to do this by yourself. The biggest success I've had is when I've surrounded myself with other people at my level and when I've been able to have people ahead of me to ask questions to. And if you want my help for free, you can watch this video right here, learn how to take my course for free, and get step-by-step instructions on how to launch your own passion product. So click on that video. We'll see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.